Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Bodywork boxing. And it's a concept out here about soft touch and matchmaking. And, I really be thinking about it because, one, I think it's real disrespectful to any boxer who gets in the ring. And if that was floating around and somebody was getting ready to fight me, I would make it be known either A, y'all gonna stop saying that soft touch shit, or B, I'm definitely gonna go out there and, man, I'm gonna put everything on the line to make sure that you never call another fighter a soft touch again. And I reason that there are no such things as soft touches in boxing.
I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I
do. I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, and we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
As you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay focused on the ring. You know what I'm saying? To the fans and all that.
You jump outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so
I'll take them how they come and make them look ordinary.
When I was a casual, I thought as a casual, I spoke like a casual, and I looked at boxing like a casual. But when I became a hardcore, I put away all those casual things. This is Michael Rogers, and welcome to Bodywork Boxing. There aren't. All there is mismatches that matchmakers create to make their fighter. It's either A, to build your fighter, or to, foregone conclusions where you already know your fighter is actually going to beat the other fighter based on something you've seen in camp, or a mole, or something that you know about your opponent. Maybe they got an injury they dealing with. Maybe they might have got sparked in sparring, but really there are no soft touches in boxing. It's really only two things. It's the prepared and the ill-prepared. And then there's matchmakers who are picking opponents for fighters who they know that their fighter is going to beat. However, one can reason that Deontay Wilder might have thought that Tyson Fury was a soft touch on the couch for 3 years. Contemplating suicide, on drugs, overweight, out of shape, inactive, ring rust. He might have thought that was a soft touch. He came back and fought that man to the draw, and we seen what happened with the last two fights. Teofimo, here recently, he probably thought Kambosos, he went out there. Even Jessica McCaskill said that this man came out swinging like an amateur. And I was like, oh, she had a point. He overlooked his opponent, and he thought that was a soft touch, and his eyes got bigger than his stomach, and he started talking about Tank and Devin, and he never realized that Kambosos wasn't really a soft touch. Oscar Valdez, because he was, it was all these talks about him going up against Shakur, and that's next, and Shakur moved up from 126 to 130, and because he couldn't get the Valdez fight, and coming up on Consacao, Valdez probably thought Consacao was going to be a soft touch. Wrong, even though the judges didn't score it right. Recently we had Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia was in all these talks, and names were floating out there about Regis Prograis, and he wound up getting in there with Sandor Martin, and he thought that Sandor Martin was a soft touch. Wrong. Adrian Broner thought Santiago probably was a soft touch. And even though the judges got that one wrong, because Adrian Broner lost that fight. Jamal James, the way he was talking, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go in there and box, and then, overlooking Butiev. I think he had his eyes on trying to get his title, and rematch Ugas possibly, or get back in the running for being one of the top 47 pounders in the division. But Butiev proving that he wasn't a soft touch. Here recently, Josue Vargas. He was talking big shit in his hometown and everything. Had a homecoming, and he talking all this shit to Jose Zepeda, and he thought he was a soft touch. Wrong. Got his ass knocked out. You had Michael Coffey going up against Jonathan Rice. I believe that he thought that man was a soft touch. Went in there and got his motherfucking head boxed off. Loma, he was looking past Tio and welcome to my club and all this other crazy shit, and overlooking him, thinking, it was a foregone conclusion and he was going to be undisputed. Wrong. Tio went out there and put on the clinic. He outboxed the Matrix. He decoded the Matrix, whatever you want to call it. Then he went on to get the big head. And once again, thinking Kambosos was a soft touch. And they passing them belts around like hoe cake. You know what I'm saying? You had Beck the Bully. He coming there thinking against Gabe Rosado. He thinking, oh man, soft touch. I'm gonna give me a little soft touch on my rise through the rankings. Wrong. Gabe Rosado came out there and knocked his ass out. You had Dillian White, his first fight. He was like, oh man, this 40-year-old Povetkin, I'm gonna get this soft touch out the way and I'm gonna do my thing. Wrong. Anthony Joshua, the first time before Andy Ruiz. Oh man, replacement fight. I'm gonna get this little soft touch in, you know what I'm saying? I got my eyes on, bigger things. And Andy Ruiz came out there and touched his ass. So I want to say, man, and all in all, man, and this is something I've been wanting to talk about because I heard a couple weeks after the trilogy fight with Fury and Wilder that, I heard it from Deontay Wilder's trainer, his new trainer, that the way he worded, he was being real political, but he was saying that, the next time out, Wilder, is going to pretty much be looking for a soft touch. I'm like, no, we need to keep that same energy like Earl Spence said. Tune-ups and soft touches. I think tune-ups, that's AKA soft touch, man. The man Earl Spence came out and said, tune-ups are for people who aren't sure of themselves. He's like, nah, I don't want no tune-up. He said, he came out and made Danny Garcia look like what somebody would call a tune-up. I don't need no soft touch. He's saying he coming back, he wants all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? And I can't help but reason, man. We got to stop with the soft touch and the lingo, man. Something got to change about that because, man, it's so funny, man, when they be like, oh, man, yeah, he need a soft touch. And then when somebody get in there, let's just say you got a fighter and he's an overwhelming favorite and he gets upset. The Monday morning quarterbacks, something I heard Teddy Atlas say here recently. I've said it in my videos. It's a boxing term where everybody knows everything on Monday morning after Sunday. I talked about it months ago, but Teddy Atlas just happened to say it again, and it brought it back to my mind. But they'll come in and they'll do polls and they'll do shows and they'll say, oh man, that was a horrible match. Why would you ever match? It's like, no, you want to see mismatches. Why? Because boxing is becoming wrestling and it is all bet driven. Let me repeat that again. Boxing is becoming the WWE, WWF, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's what boxing is becoming, and it's rare that we're getting evenly matched fights on all sides. All promoters are doing it. We shouldn't single out any one of them, but what it is, you have the prepared and you have the ill prepared, and on any given night in boxing, anything can happen. So the top 5 myths in boxing, edition number 2, number 2, soft touches in matchmaking is false. Body work.
All right. I believe you.
But my Tommy gun don't. Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
My word, and I do what I do. He knows what I'm about to tell him right now. It's Mr. Keep running your mouth. That's what I do.
I just feel like I'm the champ, and at the end of the day, I'm just a fighting motherfucker. It doesn't matter. Inside, outside, I can just fight. So I just feel like if it gets down to the wire, we gotta lock it up, I'm out on top.
Hey, look, as you can see how I'm looking, I stay solid. I'm always solid. I stay fuck solid, man. You know what I'm saying? To the fans and
Do that job outside the ring. I'm a fighter. Like I said before, ain't no safety on the clock, so I'm gonna do it.